So today is November 11th, 2019. Don't know what it is about this time of year that I seem to record these videos other than if you've subscribed to my Ice Shanty channel, it was 3 years ago we built our version 1, the big one, and since then I've built two more smaller ones. The first one ended up being too long, so I ended up having to cut it apart, and I saved all the pieces I could, and then built a third version last year, which I absolutely love. And so you're going to see later on in this video, I'm going to assemble one whole video here to post that you can watch. And so it'll start off with building the smaller one 2 years ago. And then so you can see some real basic construction principles. Each little segment's about 2 minutes long, and then I can put little text commentaries in the whole video. And then it'll finish with the one I have today. So what I'm going to do is kind of start with the end in mind. So I'm going to show you the finished product now and how it works, and kind of talk about it a little bit. And so I don't know if I can switch the camera around here or not. It doesn't look like I can. It's actually snowing out here now. We've got an inch of ice here and looking to be out fishing here by the end of the week. But just wanted to show you the other updated fish house here. So this is technically version 3.1 or 3.2, whatever you want to say, probably 3.1, I guess, that you'll see towards the end of the video. I made this kind of a ski idea that would fold up so it would fit in the back of my truck, and it just didn't work last year at all. It was a good idea, but I couldn't figure out how to make it really work. So I ended up having to build a ski to put on the front of the fish house in a more permanent way. So anyway, I'm going to turn this off and switch the camera, and I'll film the next segment. Until next time, 11 Myers and counting. So here we have then version 3.1, and so if you follow the video, you'll see, so if you subscribe to the channel, you saw the big one that was like 5.5 by 7 feet or something like that, 6.5, and it weighed well over 300 pounds, and I ended up throwing my back out. The second winter I used it, which led me to build more like the original version from Michiana Fisherman, one that's approximately 4 feet by 6 feet, but my limitations were I wanted to have something that fit in the back of my truck, and I have an F-150 with a short bed on it, and so that's only 5.5 feet long. So I started out building the version 2, 5'4", and plus I wanted it to be able to fit in the back of my pickup with the tonneau cover on. That way it's completely covered so stuff doesn't blow out. That was a concern when these things are so light. So anyway, so I did that, but then it was too long, like I said, and so now version 3 was 5'2" long, but then I mentioned in the last little introduction here that there's a ski. You can kind of see the remnants of, if you watch the video at the end, you'll see where there were some boards here, and the ski used to kind of fold up flat along the side, and it did fit in the back of my pickup then, which I was glad about, but the folding ski idea just didn't really work. It wasn't a good way to move it. The other thing is, I had been looking at, and I honestly just inherited one of these, which I'm very thankful for. This is the Chappelle. It's called a Bay Runner. So if you've seen these, you can Google them. It flips up on a house, but the idea is it's a sled that's kind of, you can still leave it hooked up to your four-wheeler or just pull it around. Then once it's popped up, if you're not catching fish where you're at, you can just move it around the lake without tearing everything down. And so once I got to using mine last year, I really liked that idea that just, the lakes around here, you really got to kind of look for a while to catch fish sometimes. And so I wanted to be able to have it all set up rather than folding it down and turning it up on its end. I could just leave it down on the ground and pull it around, so that's the reason for the hitch, and that'll make more sense once I lay it down here and set it up. But the other thing is Michiana Fisherman was honest about, if you talk to him, that you can see this, so it's 4 feet wide, and it's up on its end right now, all folded up. So that makes it 4 feet tall then, going across the ice. And if you're pulling it with a three-wheeler or four-wheeler or something, if you get any kind of wind, they do have a tendency to tip over. And so that's the other thing too, is for me, what this is gonna work out as is when it's up like this, I've got this handle on the back, so I can just push this out on the ice. It weighs a little over 160 pounds. I've got a ski on the front then. You can see I'm going to put my buckets, my big bucket and my ice minnow bucket, and it's got a ski then on the front, so it'll still skid across the ice, and it's got plastic on the bottom, so I can push it like that. But then, yeah, the biggest change is then once it's all set up, this then will be the ski on the bottom, and you'll see it again more when I'm set up. And I've got some PVC board I'm going to put on the bottom here to make some skis underneath, and so then I can actually leave it like that as well. So I'm going to flip it over now and set it up so you can see what it looks like, and we'll go from there. So let me turn off the video and set up the house. Okay, so it's all set up now, so you can see it's all popped up. So now you can see when it's set up, I put this is about a universal sled house hitch from Amazon, mounted that on the front. And so this ski is pretty much permanently attached. I mean, I could take it off if I took the bolts out and the screws and stuff, but I'm planning on just leaving it on. It does add some weight, but so I won't be able to shut my tailgate, but it will still fit in the back of my pickup. But honestly, when I get to this stage when I'm pulling like this, the little trailer I have to haul my four-wheeler and the fish house, they both fit on the trailer fine. So I'll probably just, you know, once I'm pulling around like this, I'm gonna be using my four-wheeler anyway. So anyway, so yeah, it's all set up like that. So you can put some stuff in there, the ice auger and stuff. You can still set the buckets in there. And so I'm not sure if I ever kind of finished showing the inside then. I think I did. So this is what it looks like. It's just, I just freshly popped it all up here. And so you can kind of see how this bench works. Got the storage areas like I talked about you'll see later on in the videos. So then this comes up like this and it flips over like that. There's a handle there you could use to do it. Sorry about the noise. And then I got these little chains here to hold the lids. That's mostly for when you flip it over then so that it'll sit level. I've just got little screws in the floor you won't be able to see, but there's little screws down here that those lids set against to keep the hinges from breaking. And then as I finish things here, it's probably gonna be too dark in here I suppose, but I ended up just using some of those brackets that fold up, and my circles like I told you I cut out. You'll see later when I cut out the floor. That flips up to use as like a place to put your fish finder, and then it locks. And you'll see the hole covers and stuff. So anyway, using it last year, just absolutely loved it. And so can't wait to get out here later this week. Probably won't use this. I'll probably use my little Chappelle sled. I'll show you here how this works. So you can pull this, you got a lid and you flip it over. Sorry about the noise again. So you can kind of see those chains on the doors kind of catch, and then that sits down here against these screws. That keeps it like that. So then when I fold it all down, and again, if you don't care about the truck bed height, I wouldn't do that. That's an extra step. It's added weight because of the wood. But I wanted, when everything folded down, again, I wanted to be able to put it in the back of my truck with the tonneau cover down. So anyway, just absolutely love this house. It works really, really well. Just really pleased with it. And so, yeah, version 3.1, I guess third time's the charm, right? Third time and then some. So anyway, hope you continue watching the video. You get to see kind of step by step, starting out with just bare pieces of plywood and little sticks of wood, and kind of piece by piece as it's built together. So again, just remember as you're watching this, you're gonna see 3 versions of this exact house. So you'll see the first one that's 5 foot 4 inches long, but then that's too big. So then it'll pick up the next year after I cut the other one apart and started again. But I didn't refilm those because it's the same process, just 2 inches shorter. And then it ended last year. I used it. Again, didn't like the folding ski, so at the end of the video, that's how the video will end, is with that folding ski. So that's now gone. So if you need to, come back to the beginning of the video and you can take a look at the ski that I built. So anyway, happy ice fishing. Have a great ice fishing season. Hope you enjoy the video. And until next time, 11 Myers and counting.